Hi, guys. It's Dr. Liz Jenkins with drlizcoaching.com. And I'm so happy to join me here today when we're going to talk about a little follow up on apologies. All right. I've been talking about the last few times about why it's okay and how you should, step into that apology and say you're sorry. And I have gotten a little bit of feedback from my folks. One, why should I apologize when they started it or um, the fight is still on or they haven't apologized easier? It feels like I'm the one that always says, I'm sorry first. And how do I say sorry about something I'm not sorry about? Okay. All good questions, good reasons, good reactions, good emotions around it. And apologies really tend to be these we're coming in an emotional state. And so now let's just kind of step back a little bit and let me help you put some more of a logical or strategic emphasis or strategic tools in an apology. There are so many different perspectives on a fight. And if I had a couple sitting right here with me and they were each to talk about the fight, they would each have a different perspective, different viewpoint, different opinion. And if I was watching it start up, I too would have probably a different perspective or certainly have some other nuances around it because I'm human and I'm watching and I'm reacting. So when we have had a fight or when we're in the midst of something or there's been a faux pas and the situation hasn't been resolved, or even if it has, but it has, let's say it hasn't been resolved, it is perfectly okay and very, very acceptable to step into it and say, I know we're still in the midst of this argument, or I know that yesterday we haven't come to any kind of resolution in it. All right. But I do want to talk to you. I do want to apologize for the things I said, or I do want to apologize for how elevated and how loud I got. You know, I really wish that I hadn't stormed out of the room like that in the midst of the argument, and so for that I'm sorry. I'm going to be working on that. You see, we can still feel that our viewpoint is accurate, or we can still be feeling hurt, or that this thing is still hanging in the air. But we can take responsibility, and we really should. I use that as, take responsibility for how we showed up in that situation and how far off track we contributed to it. Maybe it was the words we used. Maybe we did name calling. Maybe we did judging. Maybe it's the tone or the pitch or the pace, and we're just and we're not letting them talk. Perhaps it was some of the nonverbal stuff. We're huffing and arms crossed and eye rolling, a little sarcasm. Maybe we're just throwing a little sarcastic humor into into them and some of the things that we talked about. It's okay. All right. It's really, really, really okay to not feel like you're done with the discussion, argument. It's really, really even better to start the healing part, start the repair by just taking responsibility, accepting responsibility for how you showed up less than your ideal, less than you really wanted to. Right? When you start that ball rolling in that direction, that's what. You know what else happens? They start listening, and they are more likely to step into it with a thank you. And if you're on the receiving end of somebody's apology, okay, this is the time to simply accept it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It made me feel better. This is not the time in the midst of their apology to then turn around and tell them, well, thank goodness you did, because you know what? You were really loud there, Liz. And, that's not nice the way you raised your face at me and then, slam the door when you left. Okay. That's not the time to get into that. In that moment when you're receiving an apology, is simply tell them thank you. It makes me feel better. I appreciate it. Whatever, you find something nice, but just receive it. Okay. If you're given the apology, this is not the time, again, to do any other things than take responsibility for that part that you own and apologize for it. When we're done with that, we can say, that felt better, or that felt good, or, appreciate that. Hopefully, ideally, both of you have come together and are both saying, yeah, that wasn't our shiniest moment, was it? No, it wasn't. Okay, now we're in agreement. Okay, now we're in agreement. We're coming back together again. We're starting to, agree to disagree. And that's the next key. When would be a good time for us to talk about this thing that, we seem to be very heated, we're very animated about? When would it work for you? Because I don't feel finished, and I think we could do a better job. Something like that. Okay. You ask them. I'm curious, because I really don't want to sweep this under the rug. When we can get back to this thing, and plan for it. Give yourself enough time to try to have a calm conversation and come to some kind of resolution, some agreement, even if it's agree to disagree. I didn't see it that way. I understand your feelings. Understanding their feelings is huge in keeping someone else calm. Understand your feelings. What can we do to fix this? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Well, I'm going to do a better job at this, or I'll try not to do that. You come with a plan. Acknowledge a person's feelings, coming up with plans, and going forward. There's a huge thing in fixing those hurts, those mistakes, those oopses in a relationship. Okay. So for all of you that had some questions about what do we do when we're not, but it still feels like the fight is fresh and it's not, step in there with your part of it, take responsibility, apologize for what you could have done better. It doesn't mean you're right. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It's okay. Okay. This is not about right or wrong. This is just about not my most shining moment. Okay. Acknowledge their feelings. Come up with a game plan. And if it's still too heated, take another break and come back again. Because we want to build success habits. That's what makes successful couples. They have developed a history. They have developed a mindset that it's okay if we disagree, because we're going to figure this out. And if we can't figure it out right this moment, that's okay. We're going to keep at it. Right? It's not much different than finances and investments, right? Okay. If we want to retire, I guess we have to ideally start early with these little deposits, and we build on that, and we get to our long-term goal. Some people, I guess you could just come with huge windfalls, but most of us, it's steady, mindful contributions to get to that end goal. That's the same way with apologies. That's the same way with fights and with relationships. We ideally have these episodes in our life, and we keep coming back, fixing it, improving it, and working forward, and creating the relationship, creating the respect and the joy and the passion and the fun that they both deserve. So feel free to reach out to me, DM me. I'd love to hear more about what your successes, what your concerns are, what you're working on. I am also working on my couples connection. It's going to be a kind of weekend retreat at home or wherever you want to take it for couples to jumpstart and supercharge their relationship even more. Take care. Talk to you later.